Welcome to Feminist Frequency Radio. This is the show that asks you to be critical of the media you love. I'm Kat Spada.
And I'm AC Lamberty, and I am growing up in front of our very own eyes.
Our season focusing on the family continues as we are watching Crooklyn, a 1994 coming-of-age film about a young girl and her family in the 1970s. From a script originally written by Joie Lee, it's directed by her brother Spike Lee and co-written by the two of them along with their brother Cinqué Lee. Zelda Harris stars as 9-year-old Troy Carmichael, the young daughter of parents Carolyn and Woody, played by Alfre Woodard and Delroy Lindo. And in a small role, RuPaul Charles makes his feature film debut, if you don't count Star Booty, which you should.
Sorry, Gray. You sorry why? Sorry I called your mother a hog. And you sorry about teasing me about being left back 3 times, about being on welfare, about me and my brothers having 3 different fathers? All right already. I said I was sorry.
This time, Spike Lee takes a whole new look at growing up in his old neighborhood.
Is the TV on?
No!
I'm crazy because I got 5 of y'all.
Ow!
That have run me stark raving mad.
Somebody left the toilet seat up. I almost fell in again. Shut up, you flat-chested wench. I gotta eat this.
Black eyed peas have calcium.
All the calcium in the world ain't gonna make up for this nasty taste. Can I have some tricks? No, please. Said no, you idiot.
Give it up.
You know, Daddy doesn't want to fight and yell. All Daddy wants to do is play his music.
In a place called Crooklyn.
And stay off my shoe. We got to live.
All it took to keep it together was a little love, peace, and soul. Alfre Woodard, Delroy Lindo, and introducing Zelda Harris.
That's what family's fun. You gotta stick together, right?
Right.
Crooklyn, a Spike Lee joint.
Crooklyn is a collection of remembered scenes from the childhoods of Spike Lee and his siblings in New York's Bed-Stuy neighborhood. Loving artistic parents who bicker as much as the kids do with their neighbors on the stoop, commercial jingles and songs and dances memorized from television, the power getting shut off and dad figuring out a way to get it turned back on again, eye-opening side characters and the disorientation of growing up. Altogether, this sets the backdrop for Troy's summer of visiting relatives in the South and stepping up to look after her brother after her mother falls ill. It's patchy, it's chaotic, but it's a memory lovingly told.
And this was a first-time watch for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And what a great experience I had. What about you?
Needed this. I was saying before we started recording, I hadn't watched a movie in 2 weeks and was feeling very spiritually devoid. And then I watched this and I was like, this was amazing. It was so refreshing and lovely to watch.
Yeah, it's so, I've seen the Spike Lee movies I've seen are like out of order. I haven't like sat down and done the like Spike Lee education. And at first I was a little surprised like that this came well into his like very established auteur, like respected filmmaker status. But I guess then I was like, yeah, that is what happens is you're the filmmaker who gets finally the key in Hollywood to like tell your bildungsroman story of your youth. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's like so much better than a lot of those ones that these guys make.
Totally. I was just so happy to see a story that, I don't know, I kept thinking of this as like, if this were made today, it would be on Hulu as a streaming original and no one would watch it. And it doesn't like the directorial vision wouldn't really matter. But to see a story that is treated as like an auteur's vehicle that but is like a quiet family story is so lovely to me. It kind of made me think of Janet Planet. I don't know, that's like the closest contemporary comp that's like, yeah.
I didn't see that one, but it sounded like so interesting. But like I did the bad thought experiment of if this was made today, it would be set in 2005.
Well, I feel like we are kind of getting that with like Dee Dee, the Sean Wong movie that came out. Like these autobiographical early 2000s stuff is starting now, but I don't think we have the same allowance for filmmakers to like take auteur style approaches to that kind of storytelling. So seeing Spike Lee bring his crazy camera work, fantasy sequence, dream sequence, media reference, like all of that was so satisfying. Like it was just so fun.
Yeah.
Like as a viewing experience.
It's sort of like the fact that this is a little girl who gets to have like the hero moment or the like the big bad badass beat that like you would expect to see in, you know, you'd expect the like action star to have in another Spike Lee movie. And instead it's like this 9-year-old girl who's just like the hero of this story. And it's messy, you know, like that's I think what I liked about it, actually. Like it does have a plot. There's like a journey that this character goes on, but it takes a while for you to realize that, because it's mostly just like the way that it feels to be a kid and all the different things that kind of melt together.
I am curious what other Spike Lee films you've seen, because I was thinking about them in the context of like the 3 that I've seen. And I do think there is that hero's journey like element to it, as well as the influences of media and pop culture and different inputs and what we learn about ourselves. Like I really feel like that's present in Do the Right Thing and He Got Game, which is like a really interesting comparison to this movie, I think. But yeah, back to your journey with Spike Lee. Have you seen much of his work before?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen, I wonder if it's even like inappropriate or just like very default to like claim that the ones I've seen are political, because obviously I'm like, well, probably every movie, right? Every movie is political. Here I am at the Berlinale, Neil Patrick Harris saying, I just want to be an artist. No, I mean, like, I think this movie is political, you know, so when I am differentiating that from, say, Malcolm X or Da 5 Bloods, like, I think I'm just saying, like, oh, one that feels like it very much fits into the conversation about, like, society. But, or like Black Klansman, which really knocked me out. I did see Highest to Lowest, which didn't do it
I heard
for
it's
me.
not great. But...
yeah, I know I've seen a few other ones.
To your point about the politics of it all, you maybe saw this like Roger Ebert quote from, I think it was just the Wikipedia, but I read that review. I'll just read it because I feel like that really sums up the politics of Crooklyn. So Roger Ebert, who loved the film, said, Lee's wonderful opening title sequence shows the children's street games that flourished in Brooklyn in the 70s. Today, he says those games have died, and he had to teach them to the actors who played the children. They've died because the kids in comparable neighborhoods today are afraid to go outside and play in the streets. Crooklyn is not in any way an angry film, but thinking about the difference between its world and ours can make you angry, and I think that was one of Lee's purposes here. I think that's like pretty accurate to me. I don't know if it's not an angry film per se, but yeah, I definitely think thinking about the time gone by is part of the political bent to it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another thing where like I guess I'm in this place where I both don't want to read too much into something, but I also think that there is so much depth in like really simple parts, like ways that this story is told.
Me too, yeah.
So Spike Lee was born in the South and then moved to New York as a child. And it just kind of did remind me that like there is, I think, a more like fraught relationship to the South for Black Americans living in like northern cities because of like, you know, migration that happened in the past. And so there was something I thought that was really like kind of vast in the way that her community in Bed-Stuy is like way more familiar, way more comfortable than her actual family that she spends time with when she goes to the South, because it is like going to another planet. And the way that was just like the way you would maybe feel as a 9-year-old. I mean, like, again, I was like, I'm really going probably way too deep here, but of all things, like I was thinking about Emmett Till, who was like from Chicago and, you know, went to the South and did not like speak the social language of the South, and not that was, you know, and how that was treacherous for him. So, you know, I don't feel good about the way I phrased that, but I think
but totally, I mean. Yeah. I mean, it's different worlds entirely. Yeah, I would love to talk about the part in the South. I mean, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves with plot, but at one point, I think due to financial constraints, Troy, the lead little girl, goes to spend a couple months with her family in the South. I mean, visually, again, like Spike Lee doing so much interesting stuff with his cinematographer, who is not Ernest Dickerson in this one, but Arthur Jaffa, who also did Daughters of the Dust, which is one of the most beautiful looking movies of all time. And he's done a bunch of Solange music videos, which are also gorgeous. But in the South, they like compress the visual with this anamorphic lens to like visually and physically communicate the squeeze and the tension of her being there. And I thought that was fascinating. I don't know if it worked entirely for me, but I liked the choice. And I just feel like the strength of this movie is using the medium to tell you the things that aren't being said. And that is like that's a perfect movie for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just am so satisfied by that.
Yeah, he's such a filmmaker that's like celebrated for his like visual language, and there are those hallmarks in this, like the dolly shots, the way that, God, I was cackling when the two guys, one of whom is Spike Lee, are huffing and they start floating upside down through the neighborhood. I was
It's
cracking
so
up.
good.
So good. And so this, like the squeeze, it goes on for so long that apparently like audiences were like, something's wrong with the projector. And so they had to put up signs to say like, this is intentional. It's like, a typical visual language might be throw a couple Dutch angles in there when she first shows up and like change the lighting a little. But the fact that it was just like, it never lets up until she gets home.
Yeah. And the use of slow motion in the cinematography too. I just think the cinematography is such an amazing tool for interiority in this movie, and is like where I get most of the emotional impact, because a lot of it is not in the dialogue or on the page. You know what I mean? Like it's a very kind of sparsely told story in some ways, but I'm thinking specifically about the scene where Troy encounters RuPaul in the convenience store, and it's all in slow-mo, and it's like, oh, Troy is like having an experience of like seeing a woman, like a type of woman, and like having this input about femininity and this thrall in this like kind of gooey slow motion dancing that Rue is doing. It's fucking hilarious and amazing, obviously, but just like really beautiful to me. I thought it was so evocative.
Yeah, they never like this whole long scene of this dancing and then this sort of argument that they are having. And the whole time Troy is slowly backing away with her mouth, like her jaw on the floor. And I love that it's not like cutting between reactions. It's mostly just like you see Troy's profile as she backs away, and you're just like, yeah, the kid wouldn't think to not stare. The kid is just like, like, maybe I'm going to go put some socks in my shirt later and imagine what it's like to have boobs.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, even on her face, you can tell that it's not like repulsion or whatever, but it's like thrall. I don't know. It's so, that kid is so good. The kid who plays Troy is just amazing. I mean, all the performances across the board are incredible.
There's so much. I mean, so let's talk about these parents who...
Let's go. Oh, my God.
I mean, Alfre Woodard looks so good. She has these beaded braids in her hair that like become a big talking point later on, actually. And obviously, like, hair is a really significant part of this young girl's character, like some of her antagonistic moments later on. And I really think that this was showing some really artistic parents. Like the father is this musician. The way they dress is like a little bohemian and very cool.
Ruth Carter costumes, baby.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh,
which is amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's this one like jumpsuit Alfre Woodard comes out at one point. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. God. It's like held together with little chains in the middle. Oh, it's so good.
Well, and there's like, this I think is a really great way, like, what are the movies like Now and Then or Stand By Me, where there's like a narrator who's like, back then we didn't realize that our parents were struggling, like that just is like, we were just kids. Or even Dirty Dancing, which is about young adult, like Baby in Dirty Dancing, supposed to be 18. She's like, I wasn't worried about this or that or this. I was just like here having a summer. Here it's like, these kids are little. They know that, but they are keenly aware of everything that's going on. And it's not because their parents are like particularly hiding anything from them or sitting them down and being like, let me tell you what's real. Let me tell you what we're dealing with. Because there is so much, like Delroy Lindo, who at the time of recording is Oscar nominated. Maybe by the time you hear this, he'll have won for
I would
Sinners.
love that. I just watching this, I was like, I need him to win. He's so good, but continue.
Yeah, but like you see these moments where like there is pain on his face, but he does not share it with his child. And that was what really got me. That's the stuff that really got me.
Yeah, the scene. So at one point, Alfre Woodard's Jam is her name. She kicks out. What's Delroy Lindo's character's name?
I just wrote Delroy in all my notes.
I wrote Dad a lot of the time. Anyway, she kicks him out of the house. They're having these disagreements about finances. Things are tense. That goodbye scene where he's saying goodbye to the 5 kids, even though he comes back the next day or two, whatever, that was really, speaking to what you're saying, just about his performance of what you see on his face. And man, just like really brought me back to like a specific moment in my childhood. And it was like, wow, there's just something about the alchemy of the performance and the format and the like aesthetic decisions that really just make it feel like lived in and real and so authentic. I don't know.
You know that I don't like the Fabelmans. I was thinking about it a lot watching this.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested in your thoughts about like the artistic part of it all, because Delroy Lindo's character is a musician. There is, moments of him struggling and being like, I want to play my music. That's how I want to make money. I hate that I've had to, whatever, ostensibly maybe be a session musician, play in cover bands, whatever the fuck. And that tension is really interesting, but they don't make it the focus and they don't make him a sympathetic character because of that. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when the mom is like, I appreciate that you're trying to get bills paid, but like when you spend money, you have to tell me. Like, you still have to step up, even though you are an artist. I think it just kind of speaks to the really like confident directorial voice that is like through this movie, because my generous read on the Fabelmans is, this is the movie. He's directing it like a joke. Like he's directing it like how Sammy Fabelman would direct his first movie. That's funny to me.
He's doing performance art, you see.
Yeah, I was like, he's doing a bit.
That's really funny. I like that framing a lot, actually.
At the end of the movie, I was like, this is how I can sort of make myself understand this.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
the little adjustment of the shot at the end is so like, fucking shut up, bro.
But I was like, this is a first-time filmmaker's version of doing the story, where compared to like a movie I really love, like Roma, where there is a lot going on that is about characters that the children would not remember. Like the children growing up would not know all of the details of what's going on with their housekeeper and their parents' marriage. They would know a little bit of it, but there was even like when the kids are watching TV and they're watching some like black and white war movie, and I was like, "There's the Five Bloods." Like this is this exploration of like being a sponge.
Yes, I was thinking about that too. Like inputs is what I kept thinking. Like getting inputs about who you're supposed to be as a person or a woman, or like whatever type of identity these kids are grappling with. It's like they have TV, music, like sports, the people in their community, the people when they go to the South. There's so many inputs, which was really like, I don't know. I wrote in my notes like this is a movie about framing, essentially, like how you like frame what you're experiencing, how like, especially when it comes to parenting, right? Like seeing the parents present things to their children in different ways to different emotional effect was really intriguing to me.
Yeah. And then you see it. So then there's like these aunties as well. And they are, I mean, there's like adults in the world, but in some ways they're not even really fixture. I mean, so there's like the guy who works at the store. There's the creepy guy neighbor who's a thorn in everybody's side, and everyone thinks he's a freak. And he's the guy from Twin Peaks. There's like the aunt who's quite religious and very critical of like natural hairstyles or loves her little puppy like more than she loves her stepdaughter.
Oh my God, that is the funniest fucking thing in this movie to me. The fate of that dog, I was dying. It's incredible.
Because that's how you would remember it.
Of course, there's shit like that I remember from my childhood. That's the other thing. They like nail these kind of jokey moments where it is like, that's how a kid would remember it. You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll do like, spoiler alert, the dog dies.
In a very funny, I think it's fucking hilarious.
It was so fun. She's looking for her little Pomeranian or whatever, and she pulls open the couch bed and it like flies out. Boing. It's like bonk, bounces. It's so funny. And then the woman doesn't stop crying. We never see her again. And it's like the way that there could be these little moments like that. And then also like it's established that Troy sleepwalks. Early on, she like goes and in the middle of the night, she urinates in the hallway and her brother's like, cut it out, like you're asleep. And then she has these dreams, and the dreams are sometimes like really harrowing and sometimes really heartbreaking because she's like dreaming of things she wishes, or she's reading a letter from her mother when she's down south and imagining how her mom would be performing it for her.
Yeah.
And so even though like those moments, like they didn't feel outside of reality, they are just like the kind of magical way that a child sees the world.
Yeah. I love that. I would love to talk about the like gender parent stuff. I have so many notes on that.
Go.
And I feel like there's so many, I don't know, like I didn't think it was obviously bad to portray this family in the way that it did, but it's so clear the delineation between mother and father in this movie in a really fascinating way. And at one point, one of the kids is like, I would rather have a father than a mother any day, because Alfre Woodard is constantly like on their case because, they're children and that's their dynamic or whatever. But yeah, it really seeing the difference between forms of care and love, and also how Spike Lee frames those was really interesting, because there are a lot of moments of like, I don't know, like abuse is maybe too strong a word, but like Alfre Woodard is being pretty like intense with her kids, and, like punishing them and trying to get them to do shit. But it's all set to these like really upbeat kind of 70s songs. And so there's this weird kind of juxtaposition that is like, I don't know, I kind of felt the same way about The Family Stone, where it's like there is an underlying meanness. I don't even think that's right, but like an underlying way of doing things that may seem harsh to the viewer, but they're really cut with the style. And I think that was just such an interesting way of like portraying the gender of both of these parents. You know what I mean? I think you get it a lot throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's like this is the 90s looking back on the 70s, and it feels like they probably had a more equitable marriage than a lot of couples in the 70s did, but and they would probably look at themselves and say like, look how far we've come from our parents' generation or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that is something that I would be curious, and I might look up to see like an interview with Spike's sister, who originally wrote the script, because she plays the Aunt Maxine at the end, who's like trying to bring her the little outfit. This sort of like, your mom would want you to look pretty. And Troy's like, my mother hated polyester and she would never want me to wear something like that. And the aunt's like, all right, bye. That's Joie Lee, Spike's sister. Like the fact that she is obviously has this perspective of like, this is a girl living with only brothers, with, I think a lot of children think that their father is always the fun one, because the way it works out is that like the mothers do more of the labor, they do more of the discipline, they're responsible for so much more, and dads get to roughhouse and they get to watch the basketball game with you, and stuff like that, in a way that
they get to bring you candy.
So there were a couple of moments about like burgeoning womanhood that I was really impressed to see, because I wouldn't expect that from a Spike Lee movie, I guess, or from Spike Lee himself, I should say. So like even the fact there's like a little girl friend that she has, and they go to the store, and I think it's the shopkeeper is like, come on, give me a kiss on the cheek here. And the little girl's like, don't touch me. Like, leave me alone. Don't touch me. Go. I'm not giving you a kiss. And he's like, okay. And that was a little moment that I was like, oh, I think that a lot of girls remember that experience of like a grown man perving on them, even in like a quote unquote innocuous way.
Yeah.
That I do think a lot of men are blind to. And so
for sure,
to see something like that, and then the way that she is trying to like play with stuffing her non-existent chest, and what does she look up to? Like, she wants to be the type of woman that her mother is.
Yeah.
Even before, ultimately, spoiler alert, her mother dies.
Yeah, and then in the South, it's like a completely different experience where she gets her hair combed out for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but like a way she does not traditionally wear her hair.
Yeah.
She's dressed in a completely different way to kind of fit this weird, Southern Christian conservative household she's been in for the month. Yeah, again, the inputs of femininity and womanhood are so interesting.
The uncle there, he's doing some good work, that actor, because this Aunt Song, who is like the antagonist of this time,
like a drag queen as well. Like, that's a drag character.
She is always harping on the stepdaughter and on Troy. So these two young girls, always harping on them and even sort of teasing Troy for being flat-chested. She's 9 years old. Yeah. And at one point, for her birthday, her 10th birthday, they buy her a training bra. And the other little girl's like, it's a training bra. Like, maybe you won't need it for a while. And the mom's like, you don't have anything. You're not going to be able to fill that at all. And this uncle just kind of makes this expression like, leave the girl alone. Like,
yeah, that really illuminated some of the conflict stuff for me. Like, in Brooklyn, Troy's family conflict is like all on the table. You know what everybody is thinking. Everybody will speak their mind, and on like the same side of that coin will defend each other. We see that with the mom defending her kids, even though they're being really fucking annoying to the neighbor. But in the South, it's so passive. There's a scene where they kind of start fighting at the dinner table, and immediately the uncle Clem is like, okay, it seems like things are getting a bit heated. Like, it's like a sentence of tension, and then immediately they need to shut it down.
Yeah.
And there's something about like saving face or something that is so different culturally that I think is a shock to Troy too.
Doesn't it remind you of Real Women Have Curves in that way?
Yeah.
That the men are these saviors because they aren't getting in the muck in the way that the women are. Like, we were talking about how the mother in Real Women Have Curves, like she is a product of her own challenging femininity her whole life. And the only way she knows how to like help is to squeeze that onto the next generation.
Yep.
Whereas like the men are not concerned with that as much. And so they're able to be these like sources of refuge. For the kids to be like, I'd rather have a dad. And then, the way that a child might kick themselves for saying that, and then their mom gets sick. Like,
yeah. For sure.
And you would I was like, this has to be real, that you're like watching Soul Train when your parent sits you down and says your mother is ill. Like, yeah, that moment is so specific that I just thought it was so well done.
Me too. Yeah. All of the third act with the mother getting sick and the funeral and everything, I thought was really sparse again, but like in such an effective way. We didn't get any of the kind of melodrama coming of age stuff in a way that like really complemented the rest of the story. And again, cinematography showing insane interiority with Troy and all of these moments. Her face is just so expressive. The grief stuff, and man, the ending with the brother holding her hand, man, I burst into tears. Holy shit. Oh my God.
That little boy is so cute. He has these big spaced out teeth and these like the way he sits down and he just like grabs her hand. Like, there's so many moments. Like, this girl can scream and shout and tease just like every other kid she knows. But a lot of the family life is like the boys being brothers and her sort of there too, or like she's in the room, but then she goes off for a while to be quietly by herself. And the way that like she gets that hero moment that I alluded to is her little brother says that the like drug addicts that sit on the stoop outside teased him for not having a mom. She gets the dolly shot with a baseball bat to go whack one of them.
Like she hits him. I'm like, he's dead based on the amount of blood on his hand. I was like, that's crazy. But it wasn't like such a great moment. I was like, fuck yeah, I love that dolly shot. It's so great.
It's so good. And it's just like, her finally getting to like have this almost like aggression response. And even the fact that she vomits, she doesn't cry at the end. Like that is a very interesting way of like the way that being a young girl, like going through puberty is more like a volcano than like a blossoming, if I may.
Totally.
Yeah, earlier you mentioned the father is an artist too, and I felt like that was really heartbreaking in the scene where you're kind of in like the sad performance room, and then comparing that to like the stuff that they are watching on TV and how they're singing along to the Partridge Family, or she gets this like Christian radio song stuck in her head. Yeah. And it's all very kind of like weightless music. And her father is like trying to be a real, like a real artist. And it's just it's not what you can appreciate at that age.
Totally. Yeah, I also was just really struck by how many people I know are experiencing similar things. Do you know what I mean? Like the artistic struggle of it all, like parents I know who are struggling with trying to find time for their work while having children. Like, I think that's so real. And again, like I was really impressed that I didn't find him so annoying because of that. Because there's a way where he could have been framed as a total flop. There's a way in which he could have been framed as like the hero and like the one who's giving meaning to his kids' lives through culture or whatever. But I do think it was just really reasonably handled. And I had empathy for him for sure. But also, I think the narrative strength for me of Crooklyn compared to Real Women Have Curves, which I think is a great movie, but narratively for me, everything in this movie came back to Jem, the mother's decisions and kind of militancy being justified. You know what I mean? Like we understand why she is the way she is and why she is like so harping on money and like rules and keeping your house a certain way, because it's like times are tough. They don't have money. They need to be being smart. So even though it's like, it sucks that you can't watch the Knicks, like electricity is expensive. I don't know. Like all at the end, I was like, oh, it just makes sense why she does the things she does for her family. And then I think we kind of see Troy take up that mantle with the moment with her little brother at the end, defending him.
I mean, talk about like, we decided to look at family stories. It's been a while since I've watched a movie about like a child as well, like compared to teenagers. Compare this to Song Sung Blue, okay?
I was thinking about that a little bit too. Yeah.
Like, especially in the documentary Song Sung Blue, you see that these parents are so obsessed with fame, even if that description of that fame is like singing in a local bar, that their kids are like, I need dinner. Like, I need to go to the doctor. I need to go to work. Like the kids are being like pretty neglected by their parents, like fixation on themselves and their art. And it is definitely, God, I mean, I remember having a conversation with a boss when I was in my like mid-20s, and I think she was trying to give me the big sister like conversation of like, so like, what do you see the next 10 years of your life looking like? And she said something, because I would always be like, oh, this weekend I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to try to go to this open mic. My friends are doing a little show, which look, here we are like 10 years later, still the same. And she said, like, it was such a relief when we had kids and we didn't need to like worry about what we were going to accomplish every weekend.
Yeah.
Because once we had kids, all we had to do was get them to their soccer game or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that is both, I can see that being a great thing for people. And I can also see that being a one-sentence horror story.
Yeah, kind of devastating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Man, it's just such a rich text. I was really surprised by how much I liked it.
Me too. Like at first I was like, oh, I think this is going to be one that is like a tone poem. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
This is going to be more, I even wondered, I was like, oh, we picked this because it seemed like clearly that it was about a family growing up. Yeah. As it started, I was like, oh, it's maybe just more about the neighborhood. It's about the culture. It's about the place and time. But really, I think that is the strength, is that you couldn't just transpose this girl anywhere. She can only be this way because of all of these little pieces. Even the weird guy downstairs who when she is in the South watching the Christian music television, it's the same actor. Did you notice that?
Oh, no, I didn't. That's amazing.
Yeah. And
that's so funny.
She's watching it like with real interest, and he doesn't have these big goggle glasses on, but his Walton Goggins goggles. And part of me was like, oh, is that just like how she sees like any adult white guy who's not like David Cassidy from the Partridge Family? Or is it like that she's genuinely thinking like, this guy on TV is weird? Is he the same weirdo I know?
Yeah.
Like that, it's a movie
so cool.
I'd really like to watch again after a few years too. And
totally.
And see how it feels.
Yeah. And in terms of like representation politics, contemporarily at least, it does feel like this is such a prime example of like, of course, this is a film about somebody who holds a marginalized identity or whatever. But A, I don't think the character would describe themselves that way, partially because they're a child. B, it's not like fully about the struggles or joys of identity, like specifically. It just kind of is what it is. And that is why I'm always like, just the authenticity of it is so important. Like, this is what happens when you have like A, family members, but B, people just like writing their own stories and having production power versus just like selling it to a Hulu or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it felt so, I don't know, like their representation is not at the forefront, and yet it just works really well on so many levels and is indicative of a type of person. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a movie that's hard to, in some ways, it's hard to find fault with it. I think that you can, anyone who could watch this and be like, I was waiting for there to be more story, or the fact that it is, like I said, kind of messy. But the lessons in it are like really universally unarguable, I think, too.
Yeah.
So there is no plugged in.
A family can look like anything.
A family can and does look like anything. There is no review on the Focus on the Family plugged in website.
Shocking.
No, God, I did look up. I was like, have they watched any Spike Lee movies? And I think that they had watched Da 5 Bloods and
Black Klansman.
No, there was something else that I was like, oh, of course, this is
Malcolm
the one.
X, maybe.
No, it was like Miracle at St. Anna or something. Like,
sure. Oh, like Inside Man or whatever, his like action thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of those that felt like less auteur-y, perhaps. But there is a review on Common Sense Media that said, there are positive messages of courage, resilience, and growth. A young girl comes into her own at a time of great loss, and there's a strong sense of community depicted. Like,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
totally.
You know, it would be easy maybe to say that like children shouldn't watch this movie where people do drugs and there's violence and someone gets arrested. And it's like, well, children live in worlds where people do drugs and there's violence and people get arrested in front of them. Like that's formative to the children just as much as anything else.
Totally. I wonder if Plugged In would be like, we take umbrage with how religion is portrayed. When she goes to the South.
Yeah, probably.
We
Or they
hate
would
how
be like-
Queenie died.
like positive elements, like the lyrics of this song that are in the background in that house.
The devil is after me lyric. I love that.
I do want to give just like this is such an odd thing to have noticed, but they have these tenants, or this one tenant who, when the power goes out, this guy and his girlfriend show up, and Delroy has to be like,
sexy Isaiah Washington.
Isaiah Washington. I was like, oh, he's the doctor who got fired off Grey's Anatomy.
He is looking great in this. His name is Vic.
All
the little boys. Oh my God. Wait, I forgot about that.
I was like, wait. Don't forget why he got fired off of Grey's Anatomy.
Wait, he's so sexy. That said, he does look great.
And I really love even this one little character who's barely in this movie has a whole story to tell.
Yes.
He's like, I have a disability where if I don't have my specific lighting needs met, then I cannot be creative or
It's
get
like that guy would live in Highland Park now.
100%.
So that.
And he would dress exactly the same in 2026.
Oh my God. Well, all the little boys in the family, like seeing Vic and being like, he's so fucking cool. Like, oh my God, that's Vic. That's the man. I was like, that's so cute. I don't know.
Yes.
What about that?
Oh gosh. So shout out Isaiah Washington. Oh, and also
Isaiah, come on the pod.
Also, after the RuPaul scene, but it's like a long time after, long enough that I was like, oh, they're just trusting us to see the connective tissue here. But when the little girl is like, I ain't no puta, I keep my pajamas clean. And I was like, she has been replaying that scene over and over in her head this whole time.
That's amazing. That scene really is so fucking good. That's like something I wish I had made. Just literally just the RuPaul convenience store scene.
Who can we talk to make sure that they include an homage to that scene in Stop That Train? What's the new movie that's coming up?
Yes, Stop That Train. I can't wait.
The new RuPaul.
And for what it's worth, Rue has been posting like clips from Star Booty on her Instagram. A movie that is like not available to watch. So I'm like, are you going to do a restoration? And I would love that. Like, that would be incredible.
That would be so good. All I want is for RuPaul to walk into the Eagle Theater at Vidiot's to present.
Hello. I encourage everyone to go watch some of those clips on Rue's Instagram. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh. It's incredible and very inspiring.
I love a movie that there's no definitive spelling of the title because the posters all conflict if it's Star Booty with one R or two.
It's too hard to tell. Man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I say this every time I watch a Spike Lee movie. It's like, I want to watch more Spike Lee movies.
I know. I was just about to say, I feel like this might kick off more of a watch for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he, hits it out of the park every single time, but there are a lot of his movies that I haven't seen that I ought to. So,
I have not seen Malcolm X. I have to watch that. I really want to see Bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen randomly Girl 6, which I feel like is one of his lesser seen movies, but I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, Malcolm X is it's an interesting movie about an interesting person, but also I think it's like, I remember being really, really surprised by Denzel's performance. It just like somehow, I think also when it's about a person that you think you have a really strong picture of in your mind, and then an actor does something that you're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's definitely worth watching.
Nice. Have you seen He Got Game?
No.
It's interesting. It's not a perfect movie, and I do think Denzel is like giving one of his more demented performances. Yeah. But the interesting thing, in my opinion, they use this like cornball ass Aaron Copland score.
Yeah.
Like it's all Copland, like Americana music for this like basketball drama. And that I famously hate Copland. Like I really don't like that type of music, but it honestly really worked and he got game for me. And it was just like that kind of magpie approach that Spike Lee has to filling out the world of his movies with media. I really enjoyed at least.
Yeah. Well, we can congratulate Delroy Lindo on his potential Oscar.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I mean, I don't think he's a front runner, but I think that he is somebody that like I'm so glad whenever a body of work is being recognized as well as like the performance he gives in Sinners. But watching something like this from 30 years ago, it really is just like, where has he been? Like, he should have had so many leading man roles.
Well, exactly. I was looking through his filmography and was like, what's a good leading man Delroy Lindo movie I could watch next? And there are not a ton. Like, he really is kind of supporting and everything. I guess I could watch Get Shorty.
Here's a very supporting, however, it is like one of the like weirdest movies that I have seen way too many times is
Cider House Rules.
No, gosh, wait, hang on. I don't want to. Oh God, I'm gonna get it wrong. It's with Cameron Diaz and Ewan McGregor.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm looking to see A Life Less Ordinary.
A Life Less Ordinary.
It is a Danny Boyle movie.
Oh my God.
From 1997. And Delroy Lindo and Holly Hunter play a pair of angels in it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I agree with that casting.
Yes.
To me, they are angels.
It is one of these movies that you're like, I think I watched it when I was 14 and I thought Ewan McGregor was hot. And so then I watched it a bunch. And it's like not particularly good, but it has very strong choices. And so Holly Hunter.
That's the Danny Boyle way, man.
Exactly. Holly Hunter and Delroy Lindo in all white as like detectives, private investigator, bounty hunter angels.
The Letterboxd logline opens with "A couple of angels are sent to Earth." Great.
And also, like, that's so not what even this movie is about. Like, it is about Ewan McGregor kidnapping Cameron Diaz. That is what this movie is.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to build my Spike Lee Delroy Lindo watch list a bit.
Yeah. So recommend to anyone, if you haven't seen this, like, it's a great... You can kind of put it on in the background, too, and just be like, this is a really good time travel experience. But then
good music, beautiful visuals, like it's just vibey, but if you sit and actually watch it, it's like lovely as well.
That
kind of works on all forms for me.
Will knock you out. I do think if you were watching this and not paying attention, the anamorphic stuff would probably mess with you, but just
you'd be scrubbing through a bit.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, that is our show for today. Thank you.
I'm AC Lamberty. You can find me at AC Lamberty on Instagram and Letterboxd.
I'm Kat Spada. You can find me at katexmachina on Substack, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky. And you can follow Feminist Frequency all over the place.
And if you are a Patreon subscriber, be sure to stick around for our bonus app. We're going to give our real-ish time Oscar recap. It's Hollywood's biggest night.
Yes. Hopefully there will be
whether you like it or not
to talk about. I'm going to like a viewing party where I think it's entirely possible I will not absorb that much of the Oscars. So here's hoping.
Okay. I would love the upset of Ethan Hawke winning. I know that's controversial. And I would love to see Delroy Lindo win, which I also think would be an upset. So we'll see if any of that happens.
Yeah. If you like our show, please help other people find it by sharing, subscribing, rating, and commenting on your favorite podcast app. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.